So Rob has been here now for what, Rob, 7 years?
Five.
Huh?
Five.
5. Okay. Feels like I've known you a lot longer.
I know.
Um, and I've had the honor to get to know you a little more over the last few years, which is pretty cool. And then I really got to know you over the last 8 months when they added me into that intake, which is, I'm not sure why they added me into the Integrity Partners fitness group. Because I'm definitely not fit, but I enjoy the entertainment. Um, and so we've started, really talking a lot, and I'm watching what you're doing with your agency and hearing all the praises you're getting from everybody about how good you are at telesales, and even the partners at Integrity are talking you up, and I have no doubt I've seen you do some training in Dallas, which was phenomenal, but I don't think folks can appreciate just how simple you've made this. And so, you know, change is hard for a lot of folks, but I know if you wait too long to change in this business, you're going to get left behind, because I've done that in the past. And if you don't hop on this telemarketing train and get it down, you're going to die in the industry, because face to face is gone. I mean, it's not gone, but it's going away, and it's going away quick. So, I mean, I'm going to let you rip, but if you could tell us what you're doing from a schedule standpoint, a lead standpoint, what you do when you get somebody on the phone, all the above, and I can kind of, you know, tell you what we need as you go if you need me
Yeah,
to, but I'll
100%.
let you rip.
Yeah. Well, I can take it from here for sure. So for the 128 people that are on this call, my goal with you guys today is super simple. I want you to take one piece of what I talk about and build it into your sales cycle, into your model, into your structure, into your day-to-day. You don't need to take everything, but if you can take one piece, just lock onto that one thing that resonates with you, because I'm going to drop a whole bunch of stuff on here. And I hope that one thing can resonate with y'all. So I was looking at the numbers. You have a lot of Hall of Fame producers on your team. There's a lot of consistent production being submitted. Frank, what would you say percentage wise the people are doing phone sales versus in-home on your crew?
Right now, I'd say 70% are trying telesales, and my apologies. I think I said telemarketing. I meant telesales. We don't telemarket here. That's weird. But yeah, I think
You call
probably
me a garbage
70%.
man, bro. If we making money and we're saving families, I don't give a rip what you call me.
Yeah, true
So
that.
we're
You're right.
banging the phones. We're phone assassins is what we are. Call it what it
That's
is.
right.
We are making dials. We are dialers, and we are family protectors. Now, here's the deal. 70% trying. I'd say what 25% are good at it. So there's a handful of people on here that need some fire. I'm going to tell a story about how I failed at this over and over and over again, my resistance to get into telesales, my lack of leadership based on my ivory tower stance on things versus being a ditch digger. And then what that's done for the culture, what that's done for leadership, and what that's demonstrated to be possible day in and day out. That sound good, Frank?
That sounds perfect.
Okay, cool. So first of all, guys, it's an honor to be on this call. I've gotten a lot of attention lately that I don't normally get, and I don't know why that started happening. But I want everybody to know on this call, when I'm invited to be on these, it makes me as uncomfortable as it was 5 years ago. So getting this attention and then pouring into you guys is not something that's natural to me. So if you have questions, drop them in, and I will 100% address all of them. Bryce Evans, you look familiar. I think you were on Dom's call or something. So this is going to be very similar to what I talked about on that. So I started my career here 5 years ago with 25 grand in my name. And I spent most of that on lead vendors that didn't exist. So that was my first taste of FFL. Let's add a layer to that and say everybody moved to FFL to get good comp. I took a pay cut to come to FFL, and then I went on 50-50 repay with every carrier, and I cut my spread from 40 points over my team to 10. So that's how I started at FFL. So if people see results and they think it's easy, I'm not sure how much more adversity somebody could overcome, except for the original 10 that came over here getting their pantsuit off. So when I came over here, I had to work, and I didn't have a choice. I was used to running brand new direct mail mortgage leads, setting 12 appointments a week, writing 7,000 a week, managing a team of 6 to 7 agents, doing $80,000 to $100,000 a month on a good month. I met Mark Mead 5.5 years ago, and he was doing what I was doing a year in a month. He was doing a month what my old company was doing a month. And it gave me this perspective that you have to think bigger, and then bigger results will come. So when I started, I didn't really know what I was doing. I dropped all this money on annuity vendors, and I didn't even know how to sell an annuity. I'd never sold an annuity. So boom, 5K gone. Then I dropped 2,500 on EverQuote. If any of you have been in the business long enough to even know what EverQuote is, I applaud you for your stick-to-itiveness. You are still here and blessed. They were supposed to match it 2,500. I got a $1,000 credit, basically broke even on that. And I'm freaking out. I had a really cush job. I was making about 300 grand a year, working 15 hours a week, literally in my mesh shorts in my backyard in my pool doing client reviews. And I came over here and had to learn how to work. So Mark Mead calls me, goes, dude, I thought we'd be getting different results. Tell me what's going on. I'm like, I need some mortgage leads. And they didn't exist in Dallas. Ivan Vedrov, if you know who he was, had all of the counties locked up in Dallas. So I ended up running second chance mortgage leads. And I was convinced that when somebody told me they already took care of it, they liked their insurance agent, they changed their mind, they didn't qualify, already got it taken care of if I didn't say that yet, that was a resolved lead. And every time somebody would say that to me, I would be like, okay, have a good day. Now I'm burning leads. I'm burning leads and my back's up against the wall. And I am one phone call, literally one phone call away from quitting and going back to that other company. And as I'm picking up the phone to dial, I'm thinking to myself, bro, you got nothing to lose. Just let it fly. So the next person that tells you something, just off your cuff, say something to them. Next person I call picks up, says, I already took care of it. And I said, you know what? Perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. I actually run the agency locally here. And what I'm doing is a little bit of damage control. And what I found is that there's a lot of agents running around showing the right people the wrong product for their situation. And 9 out of 10 times, I'm able to get my clients into a better position financially, whether that means more coverage for what you're paying, or maybe load you up with some extra living benefits that your agent did not explain to you or discuss with you. Here's the deal. Best case scenario, you're the 1 out of 10. I can put a fresh set of eyes on this thing, validate that you're in a good spot. The other best case scenario for you is you're 1 out of the 9. And I can help put your family in a better position financially. Now, Frank, I'm not in the business of wasting time, yours or mine. So let me verify some information here to see if it makes sense for us to get together. And whoa, it worked. That was crazy. And then I talked to 4 more people and it didn't. And then I talked to 1 more person and it did. Then I talked to 4 more people and it didn't. Then I talked to 4 more people and it didn't. Then I talked to 2 more people and it did. And I ended up building schedules of about 20 appointments a week, super intentional, super high intent, and I'd pop off a ton of business. Now, I believe in this business, consistency equals cash flow. You cannot write 20,000 one week and 4,000 the next and expect to be successful in this business. If that sounds like a lot of production for you on that $4,000 level, you need to think bigger and you need to readjust your perspective here. There are people that do that before lunch. So that should not be a good week for you. That should be a decent week. Don't blow your head off if that's what you do, but don't pat yourself on the back unless you're a brand new agent, in which case pat yourself on the back for your first 4K week. That's not the benchmark for success. What I got obsessed with was being between 23.5 and 27.2 for 75 weeks in a row. And I didn't miss. But what I did to make sure that I didn't miss was work every single day. I worked Sundays. Sundays were my best days. Thursday nights were my best appointments. The only day I wasn't in the field was Monday because that was a straight dial day in admin work. So when people see $1 million in a calendar year, which I did, that wasn't easy. That was a lot of work that then looked easy because I wasn't setting that many appointments, but I was making a bajillion phone calls. And I was telling people, no, I don't want to see you. Hey, I want a quote. Frank, I'm not the quote guy. All right. I'm the guy who's going to custom tailor a plan to fit your situation and your budget and put your family in the best position they can possibly be in. If you're looking for a quote, go to Select a Quote, but I'm not the quote guy. But if you want me to come out to your house and show you some options after deep dive into your financial situation and your age and your health to customize the best plan to not only fit your situation, but most importantly, your budget, I can be out there Tuesday at 6:30 or Wednesday at 8. Which one's going to work better for you? But again, if that's not what you're looking for and you just want a generic quote, Select a Quote is a great play for you. There was a lot of people that said Select a Quote's cool. I wouldn't make those appointments. People setting 40 appointments a week are setting fake appointments. Let's be real. These are not real appointments. I was going to 22 appointments a week. I was setting 22 appointments a week. I'd see 17 and I'd close 15 apps. I didn't sell monster deals. I was obsessed with volume because I knew volume would play out. I'd always have a $400 or $500 a month deal in that week, but I'd also have a handful of little birdies in there that were 40 or 50. But when you're consistently getting activity, which you need to be obsessed with getting activity, the deal size doesn't matter. And you know what else doesn't matter is chargebacks, because they are irrelevant if you constantly have a hopper full of business. So that's how I started my career at FFL. That lasted about 1.5 years. I ended up, after 8 months in the business, I picked up a whole bunch of counties, and then I bought back my time. But I never had a better ROI than working old, cheap, shitty leads that nobody wanted to touch. Those ended up being the gold of the company, and then you couldn't pay $50 for one of those if you tried. After I started screaming from the roofs that this was the best ROI in the business, I get on a couple players' calls, and it's like, damn, you can't do it. So how do you then adjust? How do you then pivot? How do you not give up? How do you stay consistent? How do you stay engaged? You make a choice. You make a choice that you're going to grow. You make a choice that you're going to learn a new skill set. You're going to put yourself in a position that can totally invalidate you as a leader if you don't suck it up and learn how to play ball. That's what you do, because that's good leadership. Poor leadership is someone that says, you know what, my leads don't exist anymore. I'm making 80 grand a month in spread. I'm good. And I did that for 2.5 years. I did that. And we didn't grow because I was edifying other people that shouldn't have been edified. I was calling Frank and being like, so I got an agent who is trying this new lead source. You ever run that? Oh, cool. Tell me all about that. He's like, no, but I got an agent that does. So he calls that agent. That agent then plays telephone with Frank. I get a diluted message. Then that's the kind of coaching I'm giving my team. Does it make sense why we wouldn't grow? I think so. So January of this year, it was about a 2.5 just stagnant lag of just complacency. There wasn't a lot of recruiting. We were staffed up to the teeth. I wasn't doing any of it. That's what I'm saying, the ivory tower thing versus being in the ditches. And I like being dirty. I like sweating. I like when my hands look disgusting. I like that. I love being bruised because it allows me to relate. So in January, I decided I was going to get back on the phones. This also aligned with a physical challenge I was doing, 75 hard. So I stopped drinking for 75 days. I was working out all the time. I was reading. I was pouring into myself. And I was getting better at the business, at the job. I had my back up against the wall. When you partner with integrity, it's not all Skittles and rainbows. I'll tell you that much. There's real pressure then. You got to make this thing move. So I was at a pivotal spot in my career where I could either, I could lay back and take a headshot if it came my way and I couldn't do a damn thing about it, or I could force it and get me off of any radar. Initially, this was a selfish decision because I was so mad at my team that I said, you know what, I'm just going to produce at a high level again. And the biggest spread you can ever get is off your own pen. And there's big spread at 145. So I said, I'm just going to right this ship and it'll be temporary. And I'm going to do this so I can put people under my thumb and be like, what's your excuse? And then something magical happened. I fell in love with working again. I fell in love with working. I fell in love with serving clients. And I fell in love with getting my time back because now it was not readily available. It was scarce. And my agents got to see me working. And I happen to be really good at this. And that's coming from experience, not me tooting my own horn. I'm just good at this because I believe in it. And I don't think we ever leave somebody in a worse position than when we said, hey, Miss Jones, following up with you on the final expense request you made to make sure your family's taken care of in the event that you pass away. I don't think we could ever put somebody in a bad spot when we're like, hey, Frank, I'm following up with you on the mortgage protection response card you sent in where you listed Jamie as your beneficiary. I don't think we can mess that up. I don't think I can mess that up saying, hey, I'm calling you about the life insurance request, Bryce, that you listed, whatever, whoever you're married to or together with or related to. Make sure that something happens to you, they're taken care of. I don't think I can mess that up. I think that sales is a transfer of belief, and I could not believe more in what we do. I don't think that helping a family break the chain of poverty is anything but honorable. I don't think calling a beneficiary and saying, when they call you on the death claim, they're like, how much coverage do we have? And it happened to be an AMM ROP final expense case on a 78-year-old person that's now 81 and died. And you know what? All they could afford was $7,000 of coverage on the ROP. Do you know what? Frank, you got millions. I got paid too. If your parents passed away and they stuck you with a $30,000 bill, you'd be pissed for a second, even though you could afford it. I never met a beneficiary that I said, hey, it's $7,000. Want me to keep the money? They're like, no. Now I don't know what we would have done if this policy wasn't in place, you got to understand, guys, these top producers on here, you guys making 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $80,000 a month. That's not the market that we're serving. A $7,000 bill. Think about this. You're driving on the freeway. You get a $7,000 speeding ticket. That ruins your damn week and you're making money. So imagine somebody who's working, grinding, working overtime, got kids in sports. Now their mom dies and they got to somehow pay rent. They got to go to the grocery store still. They don't qualify for food stamps because they're just a little bit above that line. So now where are they coming up with the 7,000? They're getting credit cards. It's ruining their life financially. And this is the picture you need to paint for your clients. If you do not do this, talk to your daughter. They're going to tell you, no, don't do it. We got this, mom, until we don't got this, mom. Because they don't got this, mom. Now little Jimmy ain't eating. Now little Jimmy's doing some stuff he shouldn't do so he can afford a freaking sandwich. So you got to put yourself in the position of these people. Even if you cannot relate, you need to be able to empathize with your clients so they trust you and believe you and like you, because newsflash, fellas and girls on this call, people buy from who they like. You do not need to sell the cheapest policy. You need to be the most well-read, most likable, most trustworthy person that you can be in 14 freaking minutes. And if you can do that, you are going to crush sales. Forget about your commission. Remember, your client comes first. Your commission comes second. Your clients come first. You have to understand that. If you try to sell an Americo continuation 25 to someone who's 60 because you want that extra 10 points, instead of selling an AMAM TMS, maybe selling a family freedom term, maybe a TLE, maybe something that just fits in this client's budget, you're going to keep that deal on the books, because if you sell that other product, I'm buying that lead and I'm replacing you all day, and I won't feel bad. And if Sean Mike calls me and said, why'd you replace that? I said, because Bryce screwed that client and they were going to cancel it anyway. That's why I did what I did, because I love my clients and I want my clients to stay on the books, and I want them to have the peace of mind that every single month they can afford this coverage. I want them to have the peace of mind that every single night that they go to sleep, they can sleep a little bit better knowing that they don't wake up, their family's taken care of. Does that make sense? So we don't need to sell the most expensive product. We need to sell a very middle of the road, good product to our clients to help serve the people that requested our help. You guys with me? I know it's late, but can we get some head nods on this? I'm scrolling through here. We need some energy. Dom, there you are.
I'm all in.
Then, so here's the deal. Then I went from final expense to instant internet leads. I love buying leads that people bitch about and then just wiping the floor with them, because they all work. You need to change your perspective. The word tracks are the same. I'm a broker, Frank. My job is to shop and customize the best plan to not only fit your situation, but most importantly, your budget. My goals with all my clients are very simple, and there's 3 of them. Number 1, got to show you something that you qualify for. This is based on your age and your health, not your credit. Number 2, something that you can afford. Number 3, most importantly, something that you can completely understand. And Frank, what I've found over the last 10 years of serving thousands and thousands and thousands of clients is that they feel very comfortable moving forward with peace of mind of getting a policy in place to take care of their family. If we can accomplish these 3 things, does that sound like you? Is that you? That's you. How do we blow a sale now? We cannot blow a sale. You talk too much. That's what you do. You talk yourself out of a sale. Then you say, okay, now on to number 1. Let's qualify. What do you do for work? What's your mortgage payment? What's your situation? Last 7 years treated for any type of heart attack, stroke, or cancer. Last 3 years, heart attack, stroke, or cancer, depending on the market that you're serving or their age. What do you take for preventative stuff? Treat me like your hairstylist. Tell me everything. You give me everything. I'm going to paint a picture that's better than Michelangelo. I'm going to make you look so pretty on paper. These underwriters are going to be banging on the door to get your business, okay? But you need to tell me everything so I know where to put you. Because some people are going to smile and some people are going to frown at pain pills. Some people are going to smile. Some people are going to frown at 3 high blood pressure medications. Some people are going to smile. Some people are going to frown at diabetic medication. Is it insulin? Is it oral? Where can we go? Tell me everything. I'm going to put you in a good spot and you're really going to like it. Then you just talk, how does it pay out? The money goes to the bank, the money goes to you, not the bank or lending institution. This gives you flexibility. Are you looking for living benefits? Or are you more interested in the death benefit? Whatever they say, perfect. It's going to go to your children. It's going to go to whoever is your beneficiary if you die. It's going to give them options on what they can do with that money. Take it, pay off the house in full. Wipe your hands of the biggest bill you got each month, or throw the money in the bank and do whatever the heck they want with it. Because when they're going through adversity, because they miss you, because they love you. How long you been married? 30 years? Last thing she's going to want to do is start messing around with the finances. Put a policy in place to make her feel okay and let her have some freaking time. And by the way, if you get sick, this pays you and you have the same options. Heart attack, stroke, cancer, money's going to you. Same deal. Pay off the house, throw the money in the bank. Do what's right for you. And that's what you're looking for, right? Great. Now, the options we're going to go through today are very simple. They're either going to make sense or they won't. They're going to be affordable or they won't be. But once I go through everything with you, I answer all of your questions and I go over every little detail, it's going to be crystal clear to you whether or not this makes sense. If it does, we're going to submit an application with the underwriters and get you approved. And if not, we won't do anything at all. Fair enough? All of these tie downs are mini closes that when we get to the end, it would be very weird for them to say neither. It wouldn't make sense. So what we do is we say, okay, if this is mortgage protection, say the loan's $200,000, option one, $200,000 level benefit plan. This is how I talk about term. These are level benefit plans for the duration of the term. These are permanent with regards to your health, not permanent life insurance. With regards to your health. So if your health ever changes, they can't take it from you and it's portable. So if you ever move or refinance, this coverage goes with you. It's attached to your social security number, not the bank or lending institution. All right. Now here's the deal. 98% of term policies don't pay out. That's why people don't like to buy them. Not because people die and the companies contest them. That doesn't happen. One thing all the insurance companies have in common is they all pay. But people outlive their terms. Their money's wasted. All right. And then what happens is it gets so expensive, they can't rationalize keeping it. But here's the deal. Our policies and what our clients love is that we have these living benefits. By the way, we talked about that. Remember, heart attack, stroke, or cancer, 75% chance one of those things happens to you. If that happens, these policies pay out. I'm betting on 75. I might not bet on 2. I'm for sure betting on 75. Okay. Now, if we want to cover the full amount of the loan, we're looking at $174 a month. Frank, is that comfortable to you, or do we need to run some other numbers? If they say it's comfortable, all right, boom, let's do an application and get started. If they say run some other numbers, I already have the numbers pulled up. Now, Frank, what a lot of our clients want to do is they want to cover their proportionate halves, especially if it's a his and hers. If it's a husband and a wife, they want to cover their proportionate halves because our goal is to give you the minimum amount of insurance to cover 100% of the goal, which is peace of mind and you being able to stay in the house without it killing you financially. So covering your proportionate halves, would that do that for you? Yes, it would. Let's do that. Here's what our clients love is that they can adjust these. You own them, you can control them, you can adjust them at any time. So here's what we're going to do. Let's start an application and see if we can even qualify. And Frank, I would have gone exactly with the option you would have picked if I was talking about me or talking to my parents. That's what all of our clients do. You have to herd mentality the hell out of these people. They don't want to be the weird one. They want to be the person that says, oh, okay, well, Joe did that. All right, John did that. All right, Frank did that. So then you go into it. And then here's the deal. Here's what a lot of agents do. You can be a really good producer if you do that. If you want to be a great producer, you need to talk through what the pivot is going to be if they get declined everywhere. So here's the deal. If we don't get declined, remember I told you I'm a broker, so I'm going to send this. I'm going to send this out to Fort. Sorry, I'm reading the comments and everybody's talking too. So hold on. I'm going to take questions in a second. I am sensory overload. So just hold on the chat for a second because I'm trying to read that and rip at the same time and it's blowing my mind. So hold on. So at the end of it, while I'm going through the app, I am already preparing them for the worst day, which is, oh my God, we didn't qualify. Malik, can you stop it? Can you stop responding? Give me a minute here. I promise you, I will send the script to Frank. I promise everybody. So we're going to do this. All right. So if we get declined, I'm going to send this out to 4 or 5 other companies. The beauty of this is that all the insurance companies are within 10% of each other's rates. The living benefits are all very similar. The only difference is the name at the top. And because all the insurance companies pay, it doesn't really matter who you get. I just have my favorites. So we're going to go through this application now. But if we can't get it approved, here's what we're going to do. There's a beautiful concept for people that are like you that we may not get approved. Now, you don't say this to the healthy people. You say this to the older people that you probably should have never sold term insurance to anyway. But you need to drop this in there because equity protection and critical period coverage is really good. What we'll do is we'll put you into a permanent insurance policy that'll build cash value, that'll be permanent. It'll never expire. It'll never go away. You'll qualify for it. But most importantly, you're going to give your wife breathing room after something happens. And this doesn't mean that this is where we're going to be stuck forever. This just means that we need to bridge the gap now until we can get you insured somewhere down the road. Disclosure, they don't ever get healthier, but they do buy this. So you get there okay, and the premiums are the same. It's just instead of 150,000, it's 18,412. We just multiply their monthly mortgage payment times 12 or 18 or 24 or whatever you're going to show them, and you just match it to whatever premium they already agreed to, and then you sell it like it's freaking hotcakes to a starving homeless person on Saturday. That's what you do because it's that good. Okay, so we got enthusiasm now, baby. Come on. So that's the pitch. Now that was a 25-minute rant, and here's Frank, where I told you I was going to ask you to reel me back in and do what you need me to do.
First of all, I don't want to reel you back in because what I think most people don't really freaking realize is the passion behind what you're doing is why people buy from you. It's not
100%.
what you're. It's not what you're saying. It's not these fancy word tracks you're using. It's how you're presenting and how passionate you are about what product you're writing, why they need it, how it's going to help them, why you're their guy. That's the shit that sells, guys. And like I wish I could just plug a cord into the back of his head and transfer it to people and get y'all to realize that that's it. And it's funny because if I pulled the top 10 producers in the company, they might not sound like Rob, but they all have that same passion and sense of urgency of helping people. So I don't want to stop you because I love this shit. Like for me, this is
let me go on a rant about leads for a second. So
okay,
I'll do this. Let's talk about leads. So when somebody, first of all, timid people are not successful in sales. So you can't be timid when you buy leads. Like if someone filled out a lead, first of all, you buy your income here. Let's start there. You buy your income. So if you're trying, you can have two types of problems. And Bryce, I think I covered this on your call. You can have two types of problems. You can have financial problems and you can have activity problems. Activity problems are going to keep you broke. Financial problems are temporary. You can put yourself in a hole financially with a credit card or overspending on leads, or overbuying leads in the beginning, but you will buy your activity and eliminate a problem that will never go away. If you try to rely on warm market, like you can't do, we're all here. We're not working for Merrill Lynch because we don't have a warm market. We needed leads. So let's be real. Like we're here. We're not at WFG. We're not at these warm market companies because we have such a massive warm market that we can just be rich by making phone calls to people in our network. That was never me. I can be perfect for 45 minutes, but I can do this. But it's like, I don't have 40, 50, 60, 100,000 people that are just waiting to give me their life insurance business. A lot of the people on this call are young, and that's not necessarily the market either. So I don't want to beat a dead horse there. We buy leads. We're here. This is the lead-driven culture. We need to take that personally. We have to buy them because they're not going to come to us. We can't wait for lead vouchers. We need to buy. We need to spend. We need to get uncomfortable. Because if you have skin in the game and you put yourself in a position where you have no choice but to get good at this, you have no choice but to make those extra 50 dials because you spent that money on leads, because you believe in yourself. More than you believe in this opportunity, you believe in yourself. And all of you have greatness in you. There's 137 people on this call that made the decision to be on this call and get better. Frank didn't make you do it. You jumped on. Whether you were on time or late, you're here now. So you have to understand, you took a leap of faith to get into this business because you believe that you are destined for greatness. The only way to achieve greatness here is to get activity. So overspend, get yourself uncomfortable. Spend half the money you have if you only got $3,000 in the bank. Rent will get paid. I guarantee you that your upline on this call, if you double down on your lead expense tomorrow, you will get 4 times the attention that you ever got previous to that. They will not let you fail. You need to give this business 100% of what you have, and your upline, your business partner, your coach, your mentor, whatever it is, will meet you at 150%. But the second you give 99, I am giving a specific instruction to every single upline, mentor, coach on this call. Do not pay attention to that person ever again, because you can't meet them where they're at if they are not giving you 100. Because I know that I care about my people 100. And when they care 99, I start to dislike them strongly, because they start making excuses. They start negotiating. I can't deal with that. You're not supposed to negotiate with people if you want it more than them, but they want it more than you want it for them, which they should. You give them everything you freaking got. So you have to put yourself in a position to get uncomfortable financially because that's temporary versus being timid with your credit card and swiping that damn card in the ILC and give yourself activity stress, because that will perpetuate, and then you're going to get paralysis by analysis and it will never work. Now, people that fill out a lead are giving you permission to harass. You should get blocked by these people. You should get yelled at by these people. Why are you calling me so much? If they are not picking up your call. You spend money on that damn lead, for God's sake. You spend money on that. And they filled it out and said, I need help. I've made terrible financial decisions my entire life. I need help. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to break the trend. I don't want to perpetuate poverty. I don't want to put my kids in a position where they got to get evicted from their apartment so I don't sit on a freaking cold slab. I got to get in the ground. That's what these people tell me when they fill out the lead. They're not saying, please don't call me. They're begging me to call them. They're begging me to give it everything I got with them, to communicate to them the importance of not putting their kids in a bad position. They're begging me to call them. They're begging me to text them. They're begging me to call them 14 different times from 14 different numbers just so I can get them insured, just so I can force on them the freaking awareness of what you're doing for your family. See, we sell peace of mind and a promise. We don't sell life insurance. We sell them a piece of paper and a promise that their kids are going to be okay. We don't sell cars. We don't sell houses. We don't sell freaking candy bars. It's not tangible. You can't touch it. Half the time these policies are delivered electronically. They can't even touch the paper. So we are selling promises. So we have to be likable enough, and we have to be tenacious in our pursuit of getting these people on the phone. We have to be. We owe it to them. We owe it to their family. We owe it to our family, and we owe it to the company at large. We're here for a reason. This is a very for-profit business, people. We are not a charity. We need to get paid for our time. And we can be very, very confident in saying that. We are not freaking nonprofit. We want to make money. There's nothing wrong with making $1 million a year. There is nothing wrong with making $1 million a year. There is something wrong with making $30,000 a year. There's something very wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with making a ton of money. You change more lives and you're rewarded for it. There is no guilt in making money and being successful. So get that out of your mind. I know people have a weird thing with that. Make money. It's okay. Now, the leads that we really spend money on, the $30, $40, $50 leads, like door knock that. I'm getting on a freaking airplane and door knocking that lead if I got 100 of them in an area. But the thing, you just have to, you can't make one dial, 2 dials, and say these leads suck. They have to be pursued. The word abuse is taboo, but you have to abuse these leads. You have to. It is permission to. When they're coming in real time, I scour the CRM. I see a lead come in Arkansas, I buy it. I am freaking quad dialing that thing before I go on to the next lead. And I don't feel bad. I did it on Thanksgiving. I called on Thanksgiving. I bought leads. I bought 18 leads. They didn't pick up. I saw one lead pop up in Oklahoma. It wasn't Arkansas. I don't know why I said that. It was Oklahoma. I quad dialed it. The dude's damn near frying a turkey and then popped the $223 deal. Because he's like, what do you, he's like, I got people over. I'm like, you got 7 minutes? We never need to do this again. So like it's you, if I was timid and I didn't believe in the leads and I didn't believe that everybody that fills out a lead form, it is now OTP, like freaking 10 times scrubbed. Like they're screaming for our help. They are saying, please serve me. So that's my take on leads. And you have to understand that you're buying, leads are leads. They are not sales. Leads are opportunities. So you have to be prepared. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. If you are not prepared for these people to say hello, you should not be on the phones until you've role played with your upline and they've said, you know what, you sound good enough, give it a go. I think the best training is getting on the phone and dialing sometimes, but you have to be prepared enough to at least say the word tracks or at least have a script in front of you so you have the words to say. So when you get them, be prepared. Don't expect every person to be like, damn, I was waiting for you to call with my checkbook on the table. That won't happen. They're going to say, I'm not sure I was looking for that. And then you say, perfect. That's exactly why I'm reaching out to you. A lot of people are a little confused about how this stuff works. But how this works is that if anything happens to you, the mortgage is taken care of for your family. And that's what you're looking for, right? It doesn't matter what they say to you. Flip it. Remind them you did this. You listed Jamie as your beneficiary. Frank, you don't remember doing that? Let me call Jamie. What's her number? She probably filled it out on your behalf. You know, like you be aggressive with these people and don't quit. Don't give up. Stick-to-itiveness is a word that I learned at the first company that I worked at, and I thought it was made up, but I use it all the time. You just can't quit. The beauty of this business and the magic doesn't happen in this business until month 13, when 3 months of trails have now added up and start dropping in your account, and you automatically give yourself a 33% freaking raise. When you include the little tiny renewal trails that we have, make it 12 months, make that one more step into the new year, your first calendar new year, and a check will hit. And then you get better. Then you can do policy reviews. Then you can do advanced sales off of it. And the doors start opening. So the people that make it in this business that really become successful just don't give up. They pursue these leads. They have stick-to-itiveness. They're brave. They continue to buy leads. Even if they have a bad week, especially when you don't want to buy leads, that's exactly when you should buy more. That's exactly when you should double down on everything you want to do, because you are rewarded for doing the things that unsuccessful people are unwilling to do. You are rewarded tenfold for that, and you're going to be in the 8%, not the 92% people that fail. You take one thing that I talked about on this call, you build it into your business, you will succeed. You will succeed 1% more tomorrow than you did today. You keep going, you will be 100% better next year. You will double your production. You will be doubling your persistency. You'll be doubling your profitability. And that's an easy needle to move when you are not writing a lot of business. It is easy to go from 150 to 300. It is easy to go from 300 to 600. It is not easy to go from 600 to 1.2. But if you implement the small things and start building in changes and start streamlining your stuff and creating habits, you will be very successful. You'll look back from 1 year. You'll be like, damn, that was rough, but here I am. No credit card debt. Brand new Mercedes, new house, family's happy, family's protected, less stress, but damn, it was a journey. And that's my piece.
Yeah, dude, that was phenomenal. I can't even I really, guys, I just hope I mean, I wrote down like a whole list of stuff and I've been doing this for 14 years. So you're doing mostly mortgage, correct?
I buy, dude, and I buy, yeah. So my day-to-day, you asked me about that. That was the first thing you wanted me to talk about. First thing I do every day when I get into the office is go into the CRM and buy whatever new leads are available in there. Doesn't really matter the state. I have my favorites, but I think that's retarded because then I like prejudged states because I tell myself they're easier to sell in a certain state. But if I just would have made a sale in Maryland would be my favorite. I just never had, so
Yep.
All states work. Find something to talk about with people in whatever state you're in. If you're unfamiliar with it, like Maryland, I'd be talking Baltimore Ravens and freaking crabs, like whatever. And that might be the most cliche, stupid thing in the world, but they'll laugh and know I'm trying, and that's the thing is they just want to know you're trying, that you're a person, not a salesperson. You're trying to be likable without trying too hard. So find out whatever it is. So I go, and then I dial from 8 to 12. In November, and this is not duplicatable. So I'm hesitant to say this. So don't try to do what I did. You heard my passion. So when people pick up, they buy from me. I IP'd 85,000 in November, dialing 3 hours a day, but I bought I bought fresh leads, every day, like literally every day. There was not a day that went by, and I would make 2 sales and then I would pass the leads over to my new agents. Because all I wanted to do was have an ROI. I write 4,000 a day, 6 days a week. I'm good. And there's another 12 opportunities in there. So it's pay it forward. I buy leads, I sell 2, and then I hand them off.
Well, I'm not mad you say that because you've been doing this. How long did you spend at the other company?
I'm going to be 38 and I got into it at 24. So like 13 years I've been in business.
Yeah, so you've been in the business for 13, right? Correct. So you have earned your right to be able to be so good that you can work 3 hours and write 2 policies. But
selling, I want to rephrase that. Selling for 3 hours a day. So I'm training and I'm doing other stuff, but like the results came, and I do want to make that clear. Like I like to work and I've never been busier. I just got really
I didn't mean you take off after those 3 hours. No. I mean, it takes you 3 hours to close those 2 deals, and then you're off recruiting, training agents, doing everything you need to do on a day-to-day. But you've earned that right. The first 7 years, you didn't have that. I mean, it didn't. Trust me, I know, because I know where you came from and know what y'all did. So it's like, but you've earned that right. And that's things like people want to get to where you're at in 6 months or a year. They're like, well, Rob, but no, man, you missed the first 7 years of the business where you were grinding 7 days a week and you were on the phone at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning until 8, 9 o'clock at night,
Mhm.
6 days a week. And then the seventh day you were still recruiting and doing like people miss that stuff and expect to be where you're at. It's like they look at The Rock and they go, I want to look like him. They work out for 2 days and go, well, shit, this don't work, and they quit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
no, I
100%.
appreciate that. I think it's okay because it gives people something to look forward to. You know, it's not like you don't have to work 50 hours to sell 85 grand anymore.
The other,
It's
and Frank, the other thing too, is that you can condense time by just working more hours in a day. So like you can get 3 years of results in a year if you commit to it. You really
Yeah.
can. Because people say I can only work between these hours, but like, I mean, dude, the crazy is like, I said this like West Coast agents and East Coast agents, like my prime dialing in the morning is like from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Like you can have 4 of those if you buy leads in all the time zones. Like you never have to not be dialing in prime time. You can always be dialing from 8 to 10. You can always be dialing from 6 to 8, like always.
yeah.
It's always available.
Dude, I love it. I love it. Let me look and see if we have any questions. I know it could get out of control sometimes. I don't take too many questions.
Yeah.
Can you offer someone coming into the part-time agent, what tips to help ensure their success? That's a good question.
Yeah, I think you need to dedicate and be very protective over your dialing time. So if you make a commitment to doing this in part-time, like you are now sacrificing your Saturdays and Sundays and evenings until you can quit your other job, and then you can get your weekends back if you can get your results in Monday through Friday, which it is what it is. But you need to understand that a part-time gig doesn't mean on my own time. And when you don't have activity and you're self-employed, that means you're unemployed. So if you want to be unemployed and have a side gig that is just unemployment, like you can choose that too. But that's a big waste of time. You need to be able to dedicate a couple hours a night when you get back from 6 to 7. If you dial from 6 to 7:30, you're going to get at least 5 people to pick up, and you should be able to convert one of those as long as you're getting fresh leads. So
Yeah.
I could do it if I started over and I wanted to be, I couldn't give up my benefits because maybe I had kids and there's situations and stuff. But if I was serious about getting out of the position that I was in, I would just commit to eating dinner late, throwing Kraft macaroni and cheese in the damn microwave for my kids. Hopefully you have a support system. You can dump it on them for temporary. And then you dedicate 15 hours a week. Because a part-time gig, you can't be part-time doing less than 15 hours a week. Like you need to be able to dedicate a committed 15 hours a week. If you can do that, you'll want to transition out of your full-time gig pretty quick.
No doubt. No doubt. Dude, I don't see any other questions that are as good as that one. Some people were asking for the script. You're not really scripted. And again, but when you started in the industry, you were reading a script, right? We all started.
I wrote the freaking scripts that FFL uses for some mortgage protection. So like they're out there. I can send a couple versions of them to Frank, but I've combined like 6 different scripts. I combined instant internet lead, final expense, and my in-home mortgage protection in-home, and my settings script like into one like word track that's in my head.
Okay.
The biggest things though are I'm calling you and following up with you on whatever request you made where you listed whoever is your beneficiary. By the way, if they don't have a beneficiary listed, you just say your family. You listed your family as your beneficiary. And then they think you know. So like every lead is a lead with a beneficiary. You say that and then you say, perfect. This is the type of coverage that fill in the blank. And then you say, great. So I'm the guy who's been assigned or the girl who's been assigned to help take care of this for you and your family. How's your day going? Now I'm going to send you over a picture of my business card. There's a picture of me on there and my NPN number. It's good to know who you're working with. And my license number is on there. So you know this is legit. Let me know when you get that. I got your date of birth is this. I have your address is this. I'm a broker. I got 3 goals. Let me get some information. Here's how it pays out. Options are simple. Going to make sense or it won't. Here are your 2 options. Which one? That's it. It's a 16-minute from getting all hello to gathering all their information and thank you for your trust in business. That's 18 minutes.
Dude, you hit some great points, man. What's up, Rob? How you doing, bro?
Hey, Dean. How are you?
You remind me of something that I saw a while ago. And I've known you since you came into the business. I've been, with you pretty much since day one. I've seen your journey, which is phenomenal. But I have this thing, and I don't know if anybody can see it. I have this picture, right? It says they want to fly first class. We want to own the plane. I literally have this on my wall right here beside me. I saw it in Shaw Mike's office, and what it reminded me of is the journey of sacrifice. And you talked about sacrifice, what you had to do to overcome to get to the point you are. You were broke. You used all your money. You lived within your means. You paid your bills. You took everything. You reinvested. You kept moving on. Like, has anybody here ever like? I know for some of you guys probably haven't, which is okay. I'm not judging, but you get on an airplane, right? And your ticket's like in the far back, and you sit like, and you're crammed up between these two people. And then you're like, man, those people up in like in the upper classes are comfortable. They're laid out. When I bought my very first plane, like my first class ticket, Rob, I got uncomfortable because it cost me like $3,000. But you know what it did? It didn't get me uncomfortable because I knew I could make it back. And if I came back tomorrow and I wrote more business, and I just went to work. The mentality that Rob has with just going to work is unbelievable because he just doesn't stop. And I've seen him since the beginning, and he's just like, whatever. Sacrifice will get you to results if you just go and dive right into it. I love what you shared, dude. I'm fired up. Like, I want to sell something right now, like literally.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah,
Rob,
nobody really knows what
best
they're
call
going to
ever.
get when I come on these calls, and I like to keep it that way because it's usually a nice surprise because I just do that. But I need everybody to understand that this has been a really hard journey, and like, you don't see, like, it might look smooth, but you don't see what's underneath. And there's a lot of paddling feet underneath, and there's been a lot of shark attacks under that water. And people just, you don't see it, and you just have to be okay with it, because expectations are the thief of joy. If you think it's going to be easy, you're going to be constantly disappointed. If you think that every lead is going to buy and get approved and stay on the books, like, that's just not a realistic expectation. You know, my stepdad used to say, expect the worst and hope for the best, and that kind of deal. But like, you can like come to terms with like, okay, if the worst happens, I can just outwork that. I can just work Sunday night. I can just do that. So it's a whatever it takes approach. It's a sacrifice creates opportunity approach, like Dean said, 100%. And most importantly, it's just not giving up and keeping faith and belief in yourself that you are good enough and you are enough to be successful in this business. And you do have greatness in you. You just need to be unafraid and unapologetic with your pursuit of it. And people are afraid to be great because it's scary, because what if they try and it doesn't work? Try harder and you'll get there.
Yeah, dude, you were phenomenal, man. I do greatly appreciate you more than you know. I'm excited to be partners with you, and I'm excited to see where we go in 2024 because, dude, it's just getting started, and I know you believe that. I think some people don't, but I definitely know based off of your attitude and the way you speak about it, you definitely are 100% in on that. So, thank you, man. I love you, bro.
Well, it was an honor to pour into you guys. I hope you have a great night and can build some of this stuff in there. If you want anything from me, just ask Frank, and then Frank will ask me, and I'll send it right over to him.
Appreciate you, man.